What's up, my crew members? My name is Andrew from the Superhero Crew, and this video took me a long time to prepare for. I'm finally going to be taking a look at the LEGO DC minifigure series. Finally! And yes, I have them displayed nicely in this case. Finally, I'm getting to talk about this series. I'm going to do a very, very in-depth analysis of the figures in this series and also a review of them, and I'm gonna go from my least favorite to my most favorite. I'm gonna start with my least favorite and then we'll work our way to my most favorite of the series. I have them in a specific order of my least favorite to most favorite, so we're gonna take a look at those figures. But before I do, if this is your first time here, why don't you consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this. I got a lot more LEGO videos coming out on the Marvel superhero sets that came out this January. I'm gonna have reviews and all that good stuff coming out hopefully soon, so stay tuned for all that stuff. And yeah, so this is something different that I'm doing, by the way, because I never really gotten into the minifigures series line, blind bag stuff, and honestly this was a little tougher to do just because they were $5 a piece. Yes, they increased the packs to $5 each instead of $4 each, but even though Walmart had it for $3.44, which is where I got most of the figures from. One of the figures in this series, by the way, was a pain in the ass to find, and I will show you when we get to it. I'll tell you which one it is. But yeah, so I'm going to do an in-depth analysis of the figures, how I also felt for the how I felt the bags to get the figures, because I really didn't want to, you know, keep buying them and get doubles of all the characters, because that would have been annoying. But yeah, so I'm going to give you guys maybe some tips on feeling the bags, what I at least did and thought of for each figure, an in-depth analysis of the figures, and also try to give you a little bit of comic book backstory of the figures and stuff like that, of the characters. Some of you may not know the characters in the series at all, and some of them you do. But yeah, so let's get right into it. Alright, so the first figure we're going to be taking a look at is the Superman in this series, and it's very disappointing that they didn't do a first appearance of Superman in this series. That's what I think. Here's a comparison. It's based off of his new 52 End or Rebirth outfit, where he doesn't have the underpants. He's got like this weird design in the front there, and he's got the newer style cape as well. I think this is a good figure, but I think it's a good Superman figure. I just don't think that it's kind of boring, honestly, because not having the underpants honestly makes it kind of boring and looks very awkward, because the red parts there are on his waist, but it's not on his waist in this, it's on his upper torso or bottom part of the torso, so I don't really like how that looks, to be honest. He does have some back printing as well, but very, very simple for a Superman figure. I mean, what else can you do for a Superman figure? So I mean, that's why I'm not really complaining that, you know, it's boring, because I mean, Superman's costume is boring but also iconic, I guess. I shouldn't say that, but also, like I said, I'm starting with my least favorite character in the series. And by all means, I don't hate the figure. I like all the figures in this series, spoiler alert. But this is my least favorite just because of how boring it is and how it doesn't really differ at all from the last Superman figure that we got, or the last Superman figures that we have gotten before. The only really cool thing about this is the newspaper that it comes with, which is a Daily Planet newspaper, Caped Wonder Stuns City, where he is like, I don't know, holding or trying to catch an airplane or something, and he does have an alternate facial expression where he's using heat vision. And don't quote me on this, but the face print might be exclusive to this figure, but do not quote me on that. I'm not exactly sure, but I do like the face print on both sides. I really like this face print as well. But you know what, they had to do the Trinity, and I don't know why they didn't just do a first appearance style Superman figure. That would have been really cool, but they didn't, and it's kind of disappointing that they didn't do that. But overall, I think this is, like I said, it's not a horrible figure, but it is still pretty boring, and that's why it's my least favorite of the series. The next figure we're going to take a look at is Joker, and they had to throw the Joker in this set for good reason. He's very popular, and his accessories are a Joker card and cotton candy for some reason, which the cotton candy is interesting. It has this piece upside down with a pink headpiece on a stick, which is an interesting thing to do for cotton candy. I mean, it looks good, it looks fine, but let us zoom in on a Joker and take a look at him in depth. He has the Peter Venkman Ghostbusters hairpiece in green, which is really cool to get, in green at least, but it doesn't fit for the Joker at least. This seems to be based loosely on the Dark Knight Returns Joker, which is a very, very dark Joker to do a figure for, to be honest. If it's not, it's either loosely based off of it or not based off of that outfit from the book. If you haven't read Dark Knight Returns, what are you doing with your life? That's one of the most essential Batman books that you need to read. But yeah, like I said, even if it is based off of the Dark Knight Returns Joker, the hairpiece just does not work at all. And as you can see, no back face printing, which is kind of disappointing. For $5, I would expect there to be back face printing. I did get 2 of these, by the way, because I want to use that torso and legs as a Black Mask figure, because I think the white suit fits perfect for Black Mask. And the Joker card in this is really nice. I really like that Joker card. I think it's an excellent piece. But like I said, the Peter Venkman hair does not fit at all for the Joker. It's cool to get in green, but I think it just does not work for him. I think it looks very weird. They should have stuck with the Sinestro kind of slick back hairpiece instead that they've been using in green, but it's also a different shade of green. The one that we got in the recent Batman set, the Batmobile Pursuit of the Joker set, that was a darker green. This is a more lighter green, which I think the color works very well, but not the piece itself. And minimal back printing as well. No side arm or leg printing, which is, you know, fine for this figure. And like I said, I don't think this is a horrible figure. It's an interesting figure that we did get. If it is based off of the Dark Knight Returns, that kind of outfit, it would be very interesting why they did that outfit. I mean, I'm trying to think of like what other Joker outfit is different in the comics that they could have done, because he's kind of been the same looking for, you know, years. This is kind of the most he's different in, you know, in a white suit like that. But like I said, I don't think it's bad. I just think that it's, again, very boring, and also compared to the other figures in the series, I think this is one of my least favorite in the series. And one of the things I did end up doing is feeling for the cotton candy piece, because that's the biggest piece, and that's what basically made me find these, where I felt this piece, I was like, okay, that's the Joker. That's basically the easiest piece to feel for when looking for this figure. The next figure in this series that is one of my least favorites is the Cheetah. And this is based off of her first appearance, where she had an outfit and wasn't an actual cheetah person. And the printing on this is spectacular. I love the side leg and arm printing that they did with all the spots. It looks fantastic. It really does. And I think that this was I think it's a very good figure, just not one of my personal favorites of the series. And they do give one of these sack pieces in green with a money sign on it, which I think that's a really cool piece. I have 3 of these, by the way, because this piece kept throwing me off, and I kept thinking it was either Batmite or Batman for some reason. I couldn't really feel the ears. But for feeling this figure, I think the main thing is either the bag or this. If you feel a headpiece that doesn't have big ears like Batmite, or pointy ears like Batmite or Batman, I think then you'll know that it's Cheetah, or even maybe the tailpiece, but it's too slim to really feel. Yeah, this is a very good figure, and it does have some, she does have an alternate facial expression, where she's angry. I do like this figure. I think this is a good figure, and it goes well with Wonder Woman being in this series. Spoiler alert, but you probably already knew that. It goes good with Wonder Woman being in this series, and I think this is a pretty dang good figure. And like I said, the printing on this is fantastic. This is a really nice figure. The more I look at it, the more I like it. Anyway, this is a really good figure. I think this is a pretty damn nice figure, and that accessory is awesome. Oh, Karen Beecher, one of the Teen Titans that, well, nobody really cares about. She's honestly an old school Teen Titans character that everybody forgot about, and they kind of brought her back recently in newer books, but I was very surprised to see that they put her as a figure in this series, a character that is very obscure. It did appear in the late 70s, but this costume is based more of her on her recent appearances. It would have been interesting because she can, I believe she can, has like almost powers like the Wasp where she can shrink. Would have been cool to get like a micro figure of that, which would have been pretty cool. And listen, I don't really know too much about Bumblebee, because when I first saw that she was going to be a character in the series, I was like, who the hell is Bumblebee? And I was like, oh yeah, she was a character, because everybody forgot about her. And I thought that this would be my least favorite character of the series, but no, this is actually a pretty nice character, or figure, when I got it in hand. Her accessories are the Palpatine electric pieces, which I'm gonna take those off for now. She has these really nice bracelet almost prints on her arms, and the torso printing is really nice, and there's no need for leg printing on her at all. The face print is good, the hairpiece works fine. For what it is. She does have some back face printing as well, where she's angry, so that's nice to get. It's always nice to get back facial printing on these figures. And she has this, I believe, exclusive printed butterfly wing piece where it's actually printed, which I'm surprised to see that it's printed, and I think that's really cool. And the main thing that I felt for was honestly the hairpiece. I couldn't even feel for this. I felt for more the hairpiece, to be honest. And she actually has, if we take everything off, she has some back torso printing, which you wouldn't really be able to see if you have the wings on her. So that's really cool. This is a figure that has grown on me now that I have her in hand, and that I've taken a more in-depth look into the figure. I think this is a nice figure, just not one of my favorites. I mean, this might have been one of my favorites if all the other figures were trash, but the other figures, there are more figures in the series that are better. And next we have Sinestro, and okay, this is his first appearance outfit that Sinestro has, but also he's kind of wearing it now in the comics. Recently he put the costume back on and is not wearing his Yellow Lantern outfit anymore. But before I talk about the figure himself, as you can see the comparison there, I mean, you know what, it's all these figures are pretty damn accurate except the Joker. The Joker is a little iffy. We're not exactly too sure where it's from, but most likely the Dark Knight Returns. But anyway, I digress. It looks pretty damn good. Let's talk about the accessories before I move on to talking more about the figure. It is a godsend that they did these accessories. We finally have some printing for Sinestro core, Yellow Lantern core, printed round tiles, and this spectacular lantern piece where you can put the tile on and it looks fantastic. This is great. This is great. And that's basically the main thing that I felt for. I accidentally got two Sinestros because I thought one of them was Simon Baz because he also has the lantern. But what you have to do is you have to feel for the lantern, and then you got to feel for the hair. And if there's no hair, you know it's Simon Baz. But if there is, then you know it's Sinestro. And it's cool that they get two two of these, the printed round circular tiles in here because I have the Sinestro from the original set that he came in where he's in his Yellow Lantern outfit, and I can give him a ring, which is really cool, and I think that's great that they put extra ones in here, and it's a good thing I got a second Sinestro because now I can, now I have 4 of these pieces and 2 lantern pieces. It's great. I just think that the accessories are fantastic. Now let's take the accessories off and look at the figure himself. The figure is really, really nice. We got dual molded legs there, as you can see, and it just looks great. And I love how the dual molded legs there, the curve around the anti-stud goes around and comes to the front for the boots, and then he's got the underwear on the outside, which unfortunately does not wrap all the way around, but still it's fine. The front torso printing is great, the side arm printing is great as well, and the face print is pretty good. And then we have him angry with yellow eyes there, as you can see. I think this is a pretty good figure. It works, it looks really nice, and they really, with this series, they really went all out. Next, we have the Wonder Woman of this series, and she obviously comes with her lasso of truth, which we've obviously have gotten before, but let's take that away because it's not that important. This is based off of her first appearance outfit. I think the dress is overkill, but it works, and I think it looks, it adds to it. It makes it a lot different than the Wonder Womans we've gotten in the past. The Wonder Woman figures that we have gotten in the past. I think it looks interesting, and she does have her dual molded legs and an alternate facial expression as well, where she is angry. And if we take off the skirt, she does have some printing on her legs as well. Under the skirt that you wouldn't really be able to see, which the legs are dual molded. Now, just it being like this, I do not think works, but with the skirt, I think it works a lot better, with it being like that more old school, old style Wonder Woman, kind of gives it that older aesthetic, to be honest. And we finally have her bracelets, finally, on her arms. This is great. This is a game changer. Hopefully I can get another one of these Wonder Woman figures to put on the Wonder Woman that I already have, or the 2 other Wonder Woman figures that I already have, because this is great. I think this is a really big deal that they did that, and I'm really happy they did. She does have some back torso printing, which it looks very, her skin there on the back looks kind of red because it's printed on a red torso. Same thing with the front, but I don't know. They got to fix that problem. They really do. But overall, I think that this is a good figure, and especially with those bracelets, that is a game changer for Wonder Woman figures. And they need to do that more often with the sets that come out, because that is just, ooh, that's a great damn thing that they did there. I really, really like it, and I also appreciate the dual molded legs, obviously. You can't go wrong with giving characters dual molded legs. Next we have Aquaman, and finally, sorry for the scream, but finally, we got the angsty 90s Aquaman with his hook hand. This is a dream minifigure that we finally have gotten. This is great, and he does come with a I believe it's glow in the dark fish. It looks like it's glow in the dark. I wish he would have come with a trident also, or something, maybe like a weapon. I wish he would have come with a trident. I think that would have been better than the fish, but the fish piece is cool. But let's take that off. And here's the comparison. Like I said, based off of his 90s version where his hand got eaten by piranhas, and then he has the hook hand, and I think that this piece is great, and I don't know if this is a new piece or not. Don't quote me on it. It might be, it might not. Let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, this is a really nice piece for his hook hand. And if we take a look over here, he's got his metal arm, which has printing on it, which gives it so much more detail, and it goes with, if you can see, the printing on his little piece of armor there. It goes, the design with the lines there go with the arm printing, if there isn't too much of a glare from the light. But as you can see, it goes super well and it fits very nice. He does have an alternate facial expression. He's got that long hair that we've gotten from the Jason Momoa Aquaman movie sets, also the Justice League sets, and we've gotten this hair, but we got a different Aquaman recently. I think it was last year with the Bat Sub. With the Ocean Master was in that set, which that was a pretty good set. I think I did a review on that. Go check it out. And the Aquaman in that was based off of more his recent outfit, where he's kind of normal, but he's got the long hair. Now the leg printing is great. He's got, as you can see, the design here on the leg folds into the back and looks really nice, and it obviously is dual molded, and I love how they're doing these dual molded legs. And as you can see, he's got more back torso printing, and like I said, with the armor, it flows right into each other very well. This is a very nice figure. And like I said, this is a dream minifigure for me. I've always wanted the 90s Aquaman, because, you know, it's the 90s Aquaman. Back in the 90s, comics were horrible. Well, I wouldn't say that, but like, comics were not at their prime in the 90s, and this was a reason why. And this is just a great figure. I love this figure just because this is one of my dream figures that I've always wanted. But yeah, so that's Aquaman. And the main thing is, because he doesn't have any accessories besides the fish, is I always felt his hair in the packs. Like, that was just a big problem I had, was the stupid hair piece. Like, Jesus Christ. I could not stop finding Aquamans in that stupid box. I think Aquaman is one of the most common figures in the set. In the wave or whatever theme, this set of figures, I guess you could say. But that hair piece is dead giveaway that it's Aquaman. But yeah, so good figure overall. I love it. The next figure we have is Green Lantern Simon Baz. The Green Lantern of the set that we got is Simon Baz, and to be honest, I wish we got Guy Gardner. I think everybody wished we got Guy Gardner, because they could have just used the classic Ron Weasley hair piece for that. That would have been perfect for Guy Gardner. But nonetheless, it's also great. Let's talk about the accessories first. The lantern piece and the printed tile is great. Ooh, I need another one of these figures so that I can give my Hal Jordan Green Lantern a ring, because it's just great. This figure is pretty damn good, especially for those accessories. And this was a pain in the butt to find this figure, because I kept feeling the lantern piece, but then I would buy it and not feel for the hair, for a hair piece. And I went to Barnes & Noble, I picked up a pack, and I felt it. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't feel a hair piece. And it turned out that it was Simon Baz. And it took me a really dang long time to find. And I should have mentioned with Sinestro, the way that it is, it's clipped onto one of these pieces that they use for Spider-Man to hold web pieces, and it just goes on like that. But let's obviously do the comparison, because that's a tradition in these videos when we look at these figures. But yeah, this figure is superbly detailed, and I'm surprised they did Simon Baz, because he was a little, at least with me, controversial. And I don't know how controversial he was when he first came out, but he had a Muslim prayer on one of his arms, like as a tattoo that was glowing green, which they didn't do that here. Why didn't they do that? But obviously they would not do that. Lego would not put that in this, and that, like I said, that makes me surprised that they even made Simon Baz. I guess because he's just one of the newer Green Lanterns, but this is a great figure. The face printing is good, and it doesn't suffer from him, because he is a darker skinned individual. The arm printing, like the the skin printing on his face does not suffer from the problem that like Captain America or Mercy had, where it would make the skin darker and look weird. It's fine there. There's even back head printing as well, which gives it more detail, and side arm printing for sleeves, which is really cool. I guess that's dual. Are those technically dual molded arms? I guess that's what those are. Maybe. I don't know. Let me know. But even with like the little bit of green on the black sleeve works, and the leg prints are also amazing here with the dual molded legs there. They knocked it out of the park with this figure especially. But like I said, I wish they would have done Guy Gardner instead of Simon Baz. I mean, but what are you gonna do? Hopefully we get Guy Gardner in the future. And having the accessories, the lantern ring and the lantern itself is great. I think this is a fantastic figure, and the accessories are pretty damn good as well. The next figure we got is Cyborg, and well, this figure is pretty awesome. And obviously, well, I mean, not obvious. This is his first appearance where he's not completely robotic. He's more half and half, which makes him more of a cyborg. And he's got these purple chains. You get two of them in here, and it's based off of that iconic cover of Cyborg breaking out of the purple chains. I think that's really cool that they did that and put purple chains in this pack, I guess, or you know, with the figure. I think it's really good. But let's take those off and take a look at the figure itself, because holy shit, this figure's got a shit ton of printing. But as you can see, it looks very much like the they really did not cut any corners with this figure, especially with that new helmet kind of mold. There's his face underneath, which he looks very weird. No back print, head printing there, but the helmet mold is new, which is very nice, and it works fantastically on this figure. It's really nice. He looks kind of weird from the side, but I think it works. It's fine. Look at that arm printing and leg printing. It's not dual molded, obviously, but you know, I think this is great. They really did not cut any corners with this figure, and they could have just left. They could have just done like dual molded arms and made, you know, brown and then the gray, but they did not. They put so much printing on the legs and the arms. It's really nice, and you know, because it's based, you know, off of his first appearance, he's got more, you know, mechanical stuff going on, you know, with the joints and stuff. He's not fully robotic like he is now. He was more, you know, half human, half robot, like I said before. And it really shows here because his skin is coming through on the figure. I think it works. This is a great figure, and especially getting that new helmet, half helmet, half hair mold is really nice. And yeah, this is a really, really nice figure. I cannot get over how detailed the figure is with that printing on the arm and the leg. I really love this figure. This is great, and I like how they're doing all these first appearances of different characters in this wave of Lego minifigures. This is really nice. I do like this. All the detailing is great on this figure. I have nothing else more to say. And it's cool that we get these purple chains, which I think is exclusive. We've never gotten those chains in that purple color, and it is the long piece there. Yeah, this is great. I really like this figure. Next we have Stargirl, and you might be surprised that this figure is a little bit higher than Cyborg, and I just love this figure. I really do. And she's got her staff there, which looks great. A classic Jeff Johns invention, this character. And a more recent character as well, only made in around, I think it was the early 2000s-ish, around there. But yeah, and this figure is great, and here's the comparison for you. And it makes sense that they gave Stargirl or they put Stargirl in this series because she is getting her own, I believe, CW show or DC Universe streaming service show. I'm not exactly sure, but it's cool to get this. And I don't know if that staff or the top piece there is new or not. I'll be honest, I was a little iffy on these sparkles, but I think it fits well because like it makes it look like the staff is like powered up and she's ready to kick some ass with that. But let's take the staff off and look at the figure herself. The figure looks pretty good. The waist there, as you can see, suffers from the problem where it looks a little bit darker because it's printed on a blue torso. It has awesome arm printing there, and on both sides, and side leg printing, and it's dual molded legs. It's really nice, and the face printing is awesome as well. Also, she has an alternate facial expression where she's smiling with her braces, and yes, she has braces, if you can see. Yeah, this is a really nice figure, and you're probably wondering why I put this figure above Cyborg if I really was raving about Cyborg's printing, because if you notice, it doesn't really have too much detailing on the sides. I mean, you don't really need to have that much detailing on the sides because it's Stargirl. It's more of a simple outfit, but this is a character that we've never gotten before. That's why I kind of like it better than Cyborg. It's just that's why some of these characters I like more than others, is because we have never gotten them before. And my top 4 favorite characters of the series, that's one of the main reasons. And the top 3 are basically characters that I've always wanted in figure form, like forever, since I was a child. But yeah, so anyway, let's talk, I guess, more about Stargirl. She does have some back printing as well, and the belt looks pretty good there on her on both sides. This is just a great figure. I like this figure a lot. I really, really do. And the staff is great as well. All these figures have nice accessories. This was a tough figure to kind of feel in the packs. I really just had to kind of feel for the hair, because it's very different from you know, someone like Wonder Woman's and Aquaman's, you know, because they both have long hair. I did get 2 of her by accident because I thought one of her was Huntress, but then I realized, okay, so this the Huntress figure has a more bigger hair piece. This has a more smaller one where it's got the little thing in the front. So that's how I kind of figured it out. But yeah, that's Stargirl. Very nice figure. I'm happy to finally get her in minifigure form. Woo! This is one of my favorites. And I've said this a lot about this series, but this is really one of my favorites right here. First appearance Batman, obviously based off of the Detective Comics 27 first appearance of Batman, and holy shit, this is great. And you're probably wondering why he's got the purple hands. Well, that's because back in the day when he first appeared in Detective Comics 27, he had the purple gloves. And I love how they did a different headpiece or cowl piece, because it really fits. And if they did the one that they've been using for years, it would not have fit at all, and it's great. He's got the more pointier ears here, the purple gloves, the underwear on the outside, the boots, which is, by the way, dual molded legs, and you know, a blue Batarang fits as well. And you can recreate the Detective Comics 27 cover with the rope piece that it comes with in the set. But let's take set. I keep saying set, but with the figure. Now let's take a look at the figure itself. Like I said, he's got the purple gloves, purple hands, which fits, and a lot of people were confused about that when they saw that, but yes, when he first appeared in the comics, he had purple gloves. Very weird, I know. But the symbol on his chest also fits. It's different, and it's different enough where it, you know, looks good, and also the belt printing on there is nice as well. He does have some back torso printing, and as you can see, no back facial printing, which is disappointing. And he's got that new thing that they're doing where he's got goggles instead to have the white eyes, which is a very weird thing and a very interesting thing that they did with this, but or that they've been doing. Been doing goggles instead now. But this is a very nice figure that is in this set. Like, this is a set. I keep saying set. The series. It's awesome to get him in this series, and you know what? It's so simple and effective. It works, and you know, you don't need the side arm printing and the side leg printing. That's what I love most about this figure, of how simple it is. And that's why it works, and that's why it did work back in the 30s when he first appeared in Detective Comics 27. But yeah, so that's Batman, the first appearance Batman. And I just want to say, though, that this is my favorite, like, of the Trinity that we've gotten, because and that's one of the reasons why Superman was my least favorite, is because he's not the first appearance, and he's not different enough from the other Superman figures that we've gotten. At least the Batman and Wonder Woman are different enough where you can tell that they're basically, you know, mostly different from those other Batman and Wonder Woman figures that we've gotten. But yeah, I just had to ramble a little bit there. But yeah, that's Batman. I like this figure. I'm happy to finally get this. Fucking awesome. Now we're down to my top 4. These are my most favorite figures of the series, and you're probably surprised to see that Metamorpho is my one of my favorites of the series, and that's because this is one of my favorite obscure DC characters, and I'm so happy to get him in minifigure form, and he's just so crazy looking that it's great. And I don't know if a lot of people like him because he's just so different, but that's what he is in the comics, and as you can see from the comparison, that's basically what he is. Now, the thing with him is that feeling the packs, it was like, why don't I feel anything? I when I was feeling the packs, I was like, why don't I feel anything? And then I would feel the fist accessory, and I'm like, oh, that's why, because it's Metamorpho, and he just has a head, torso, and legs, and then just one accessory, which is one of these big fist pieces, because he can control almost the elements, kind of. Rex Mason, I love him so much. He's such a great character. But and now we could start making the Batman and the Outsiders. Anyway, okay, let's take this off and look at the figure. One of the big things about this figure is that clear leg that you can see through. I think that's great, and they even printed it on the side. Whew. Puts a nice tear to my eye, but anyway, and then also the other leg has printing as well, and both arms have side printing as well that go with each part of his body, and he has nice back printing as well. I wish the wrinkliness of his face would transfer back to his head, but it doesn't. Like, I wish they would have just put a little bit on the back of his head, but they didn't, and I love the M there that stands for Metamorpho, or Rex Mason, because his last name is Mason. But yeah, this is one of my favorite figures, just because how crazy it is and how detailed it is. They really went all out, and even doing that translucent leg is just mind-boggling to me. I've never seen that before. I don't know if they've done it before, but if they haven't, this is really freaking. Oh, I love this figure. I really, 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 really do. But yeah, that's Metamorpho. One of my favorites of the series. I know, probably surprising to you, but yeah, that's Metamorpho. Now here's a little bit of a story with this figure. This is Jay Garrick the Flash, and I was sitting home alone one day, and I was just perusing through YouTube, and I saw that Ashen Flash, and if you don't know who Ashen Flash is on YouTube, why the hell are you watching this video? Go check out him. He's a much better YouTuber than me. He posted a video of the rumored list or known list of the DC minifigure series. The figures that were coming out then because of all the leaks and stuff like that. And when he said Jay Garrick the Flash, I literally screamed yes, because this is one of the figures that I have been waiting to get, because I've made about 30 different custom versions of him. I've had the Brick Arms British helmets that I put on him I love that we finally got him. And here's the comparison for you. This is the original Flash before Barry Allen. Jay Garrick was the Flash, and then they made Barry Allen because they wanted to make the books more modern. And then they eventually made it so that Jay Garrick was the Flash, but he was a comic book character that Barry Allen read about, but it ended up that the author of those comic books in the DC universe that made stories about the Flash, this Flash, Jay Garrick, had these like dreams where he could tap into the another Earth or another universe, and so that technically Jay Garrick is a real human in another universe, and then they incorporated Jay Garrick into the regular universe and the JSA, and then it's complicated. Don't ask me about it, or do. I don't care, but yes, he's a very complicated character, kind of, not really, but yes, this was the original Flash, and yes, I'm so happy to get him in the set. His only accessory is this back thing, back neck attachment where you can put lightning on the back of him so that he's running fast. But yeah, so let's actually take that off and take a deeper look into the figure. And I'm so happy we got him as a figure. Let's start off with the obvious. The helmet is the one thing to definitely feel for when feeling for the packs. That helmet is fantastic, obviously exclusive. This is a great helmet, and the wings are really nice, and it's not like a rubber or anything. This is a solid thing. I guess it's a dual molded helmet, but it's a solid thing. It's really, really nice. A lot of people were saying that the helmet might be too big. I think it's fine just for the, Lego-ified version of the character. It works, for it to be slightly bigger. The torso print is great, how he's got the weird coat buttons on the side, if you can kind of see that, if the glare isn't going to be a weenie, and the really cool lightning bolt going that way. He's got a printed belt, which is cool, like that, on his actual waist, with, by the way, dual molded legs, and also side printing, with the wings on the side is great on the boots. Holy shit! That means they could do a Namor figure, Namor the Submariner figure, because then they could put the wings on the feet. They could print the wings on the feet for Namor! They need to do that. Why don't they do that? No side arm printing because they don't need it. Perfectly fine back printing. This figure's great. This is all I could have ever wanted for a Jay Garrick the Flash figure. Holy shit. I am in love with this figure. Like I said, one of my favorites. And I'm so happy that we finally got Jay Garrick. This is just, this is a dream come true right here. And I'm going to be saying that for the next 2 figures. Yes, like I said, one of my favorites. This is another character I have been dying to get. Batmite is honestly another one of my favorite DC characters, just because of how interesting and weird he is. He's an imp from the 3rd dimension he's from the same dimension as Mr. Mxyzptlk, the imp, interdimensional imp from the 3rd dimension that annoys Superman, where you have to say his name backwards and then Mxyzptlk will go away. Batmite is not a villain, by the way. That is a common misconception. He's not a villain. He just likes annoying Batman. Not really annoying, he's Batman's biggest fan. And that's why he dresses like Batman. And he's a very fourth wall breaking character, at least in the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon show, which is great. And as you can see, he comes with a printed tile of Detective Comics number 27, the first appearance of Batman, but Lego-fied. Are you kidding me? That's why I have 5 of this figure. Anyway, comparison time. Let's take this off also. Batmite has had the same look pretty much over the years, with that stitched, bat symbol into the torso there. By the way, if you want to read something of Batmite related, go check out the Batmite series from a couple years ago. I believe it was from like 2015, 2016, 2017-ish. No, I feel like it was 2016. He had a 6-issue miniseries where he went and annoyed a bunch of other superheroes, and it's pretty damn good for a Batmite series. But yeah, this is great. This figure is great, and the cowl, I'm stuttering because I love this figure. The cowl is great, how it's got the bent ear, because that's how it is. Really, 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 really nice. The torso print is great. It's simple because, you know, that's what it is. He's got dual molded short legs with that old style cape. Now, underneath, he has no back facial printing, but it's funny because he's got like goggles with the Batman symbol there, which look funny, and he's got like, you know, his 2 buck teeth. He's got, you know, the belt, which looks very like schlocky and I don't know, messed up a little bit, like it's a homemade suit. And that's how the figure looks, because that's how the character is. You know, he just threw on a Batman outfit because, you know, he wants to annoy Batman. This figure is great, and then adding in the Detective Comics number 27, you know, first appearance of Batman as a fucking tile piece is great. And that just adds to why this figure is great. And like I said, that's why I have 4 other Batmite figures, is because of this stupid tile piece, because I love it. But yeah, very, very nice figure. This is a figure I've been dying to get. And the main thing to feel for is, I guess, the tile piece, and then also his helmet or a cowl, which it's similar to the first appearance Batman, but the first appearance Batman has longer ears. This has kind of shorter ears, and you can kind of feel it a little bit. Pro tip, by the way, all of the characters with a cape have a plastic bag within the pack, so you can hear and kind of feel if there is one. So like when I was looking for other figures and I had all the characters with capes, I just kind of, like, if I heard extra crinkling, then I would just toss that bag aside, because that was not one that I needed. So, but yeah, anyway, great figure. I'm so happy. It's time for the moment that you've been waiting for. I'm not gonna do that, but my favorite figure of the series is obviously Mr. Miracle. I never thought I would get a Mr. Miracle figure, and this is fantastic. He's got the accessories he has is a little funny because, alright, history time, DC history time. Mr. Miracle's name is Scott Free, and his power is that he can escape any trap. And, you know, get it scot-free, huh? And he is a new god, who are basically like the gods of the DC universe, and who live on New Genesis. And then there's Darkseid, who lives on Apocalypse, which is outside of time. And Mr. Miracle is Highfather's son, who's basically like God. And then, but Orion is Darkseid's son. So what they did was, to keep peace, they switched sons when they were babies, and then Scott Free got raised on Apocalypse and kind of became a badass. And now he's Mr. Miracle. There's your DC history lesson, but let's take the accessories off and take a look at the figure himself. I think it's kind of funny how they gave him like handcuffs and this long chain as an accessory, as accessories for him, so for him to get out of. But there's the comparison. The figure's great. The figure is just great. And like I said, this is my favorite figure of the series, and he looks just so crazy. You know, his outfit in the books is so crazy. By the way, I do need to recommend Tom King's Mr. Miracle run. It's only 12 issues, and it's a really good book, except for the last issue, which kind of annoyed me. But it's for an older audience, by the way. So if you're not like over the age of like, you know, 14, then you can't read it because it's a little dark in that book. But anyway, I love this figure because they give him this cape piece, which is like a weird, it's not the older style cape and it's not the newer style cape. It's a very different type of cape. I don't know how to explain it. They give him another piece of like the cape there, and obviously no back printing because there's nothing to cover it up. And or I'm sorry, back head printing. He does have back torso printing, which is great. And then he's got dual molded arms, dual molded legs as well, and just the printing on the front, like you don't even need, I mean he does not need side arm printing, just, you know, the dual molded printing is good. And then the leg printing, how, you know, the boot wraps around and then the green on the top wraps around as well, fits fantastic. The face print is great as well. Just the whole figure is good. I love how it's got the two buttons where you can see a little bit of the cape, because that's what connects the cape to him. It looks great. The figure is great. I love how also the waist also has the printing so that it looks completely like fluid throughout the figure. It fits so fucking well. I love this figure. When I also found out that we were getting this figure, I was ecstatic. And yes, this is my favorite figure of the series, just because this is a figure that I have been wanting for a long time, coming off the heels of that Mr. Miracle series. Go check it out, please, because that series is good. Only 12 issues. It's one consistent story for 12 issues. That's why I love it. Like I said, except the last issue kind of bugged me, but this is the perfect figure for Mr. Miracle, and I thought we would never get a figure for Mr. Miracle, but yeah, let's I don't know, let's recap kind of. So you might be surprised with the order I gave of these figures, but I want to do a little bit of more of explaining. Like I said, the Superman figure is not horrible, it's just not different enough from the ones that we've already gotten to make it higher on the list of figures. I wish it was, like I said, his first appearance outfit instead of the Rebirth New 52 outfit. The Batman and the Wonder Woman figures are good because they're different enough from the ones that we've gotten, where they look, you know, they're different enough from the original ones that we've gotten where I like them, especially the Batman. And, you know, Metamorpho, Mr. Miracle, Batmite, and Jay Garrick, just figures that I've always wanted in minifigure form. I've just, and you know what? I'm happy that they did this, because this gives us figures that we would have never gotten in Lego sets, you know, because we would have never gotten Mr. Miracle in a Lego set. But we got him in this, and I think that they just did this as an experiment. You know, they put obscure characters in the wave, or in the series, and then they put characters we know but variations of them. But I wish they would have put more villains in here. I would have rather they did half and half. There's 16 figures in here. I wish they would have done 8 heroes and 8 villains. But I understand that they needed to do the Trinity, and they wanted to do obscure characters. I get it, but I wish they just would have done half and half. Here's the thing. Yes and no. It's not worth it for some figures in the series, like Joker. Well, let's look. Joker, I think Joker, Superman, Bumblebee, yeah, Cheetah, like these characters here, my least favorite characters, they're not really worth the $5. But the other characters, the Green Lantern, you know, Simon Bez, Sinestro, Aquaman, Jay Garrick, Batmite, Batman, Hunter, Cyborg, Mr. Miracle, I think that they are worth $5 because of the printing and because of some of these new pieces that they did just for these figures. Or at least, you know, some of these figures. That's the thing, I'm very half and half on that, because like I said, some of the figures are not worth $5 and some are, you know, like they could have, instead of doing Joker as a figure, they could have done a different character and done some crazy printing, arm and leg and side arm printing, dual molded legs, dual molded arms, dual molded helmet, you know, like just They could have done something like that, and then it would be worth the $5. But you know, some characters just, it's really not worth it, you know. Simon Baz and Sinestro, they have the lantern pieces. I think that bumps up the figures because having those makes them worth, I guess, the $5. But then again, you know, in the future, you know, they better go all out in the future with other minifigure series, because here's the thing, these are licensed. So that means, you know, I understand there's like, you know, they probably have a Warner Brothers tax with doing this, but with, like, let's say the next minifigure series that isn't licensed, that they do, if it's $5 and the figures are like the same quality as the ones that we've been getting for the last couple of years, they're really screwing up, because they should just go all, if you're gonna make a figure $5, they should just go all out with the figures, you know what I mean? It's just crazy to me to think that now that they're $5, I hope that the next minifigure series isn't going to be $5, which I won't get unless it's another DC or Marvel series, but I just... making it $5 is like kind of worth it for some of the figures, but kind of not worth it. And to be honest, it should be worth it for all of it. Like, they should have gone all out with this. And it seems like they did. Like, a lot of the printing is fantastic. But some of them, like Superman especially, not worth $5. But let me know what you guys think about the LEGO DC minifigure series down in the comments below. If you think that some figures are better than others, then let me know down in the comments below. I want to talk to you guys about it. Let me know down in the comments, and we can talk more down there. Follow me on Instagram at SuperHeroCrew, or Superhero_crew. I'll have that link down in the description, and yeah, you can message me on Instagram, DM me on there. We can talk and whatnot, talk about some of this LEGO shit. Let me know what you guys thought of the video as well. I might do this more in the future if they do like a LEGO DC or Marvel minifigure series. Then yeah, these will definitely be coming out. These types of videos. I like this because it's, you know, like a in-depth analysis of the figures. And I try to give you some insight on the characters in the comics. You know, them being from the comics, I try to give you as much information from there as possible. I just realized I have a Marvel shirt on. Damn it! Anyway, if you guys liked the video, why don't you give this video a like? Like I said, comment down below and subscribe if you're new here. Check out the other videos we have here posted on the channel. Like I said, stay tuned for the other LEGO videos. I am going to be having the Marvel stuff coming out, all that good stuff for the reviews of those sets. But yeah, guys, so that's it, and I will see you in the next one.